Some people come into mediumship and they never progress. Maybe you're one of those people and you seem that you are given everything and you just don't see any of the results. Well, fear not, because by the end of this video, my friends, I've collected all of the different things that are going to hold you back in terms of seeing a connection taking place, in terms of seeing your progression, more importantly. If you're new to the channel, my name is Psychic Medium Jordan Coburn, and I can prove with evidence of the afterlife. I've helped thousands of people on this earth plane to once again be able to reach out and contact their loved ones in spirit from the understandings and the teachings, and now it's your turn. Each and every one of you, my friends, can become great mediums in here at Help Heal Serve. We can give you the very foundations to forge your own unique understanding, not to mention we have the loving and supporting Help Heal Serve family. I'd like to say a big massive thank you to every one of the channel members. It blows me mind to see how many of you have become members and helped the message of Help Heal Serve to grow. Thank you to all of the channel subscribers. Thank you to every one of you who smashed that like button. And let me know down in the comment section if this is something that you are struggling with. Maybe you've been in development for 10 years or 15 years and you just might not have the connection that you believe you deserve. Well, let me know down below because I'd love to know your story. Let's get into the very, very first thing that is going to stop you from being able to connect to the spirit world or seeing the rewards to which you seek in your mediumship development. I've got to be honest, the very first one is something that you've probably all heard before, and that's going to be forcing the process. I do apologize if you've heard this on a different video, but it is so important at the beginning of your development to understand that you can't force this to take place. I know there's so many people, right, that let's go for the simple way that the majority of will work. We'll look at other people. We'll look at how they do something and how they make it look easy. I'll give you a prime example, actually, right? I used to go ice skating. And when I say ice skating, I was one of those people who would just go on the skates and probably hold on to the side, and I used to go around a few times. And I watched other people ice skating. I didn't get any lessons, I didn't get tutored, I didn't. And I watched them and I thought, that looks easy. They make that look so easy. We've probably all done it. You might even be one of those people also. And we just think, why can't I do that? Anyway, fast forward a couple of weeks, I decided to get myself some of the ice skates because I seen them all, everyone wearing these ice skates, and I thought that's probably what's making them good. Didn't think it had anything to do with training, and you'll see why I'm coming to this point. Gets on the ice skates, started going around. I thought, well, actually, this does feel a bit better. I'm a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more confident now. I've got ice skates. And then I seen somebody going full speed and then turning around as they were going fast. And I watched the motion and it looked fluent. It looked easy peasy. It looked so cool. And I watched with envy and I thought, I can do that. They can do that. I can do that. Well, let me tell you, that was a bad idea because a grown man cry, I hit that ice. Honestly, I went as fast as I could and I decided to do what I thought I had done. Because obviously, naturally, why couldn't I do it? Spun round and just went boosh straight into the ice. I'm not joking you. The wind was taken out of his. Honestly, I was snotting. I felt so hard done by. And then I just remember in those moments thinking back going, why did I think I could even do that? And that's what each and every one of you have to remember. As human beings, as a species, right? We'll look at other people and we'll liken ourselves to them. Remember, each and every one of you are unique. You all have very different avenues that you'll explore in mediumship, and you all have very different qualities. In the ice skating, I, as a human being, just looking for, I can do that. How many of you have looked at other mediums and thought, well, I want to be able to do what they do? Well, they've just got evidence. Why can't I get evidence? Because you haven't put the time in, you haven't forged a connection, you haven't built the trust. You are aware consciously. For a medium, right? For a medium to be able to receive information from the spirit world, it's a two-way communication. And every one of you watching this, I can guarantee, you're going to think that that communication takes place and it's all to do with spirit. It's the spirit world who give you the information. It's the spirit world who have to come to you. It's the spirit world, on the contrary to what you may believe, right? or what you may have even been told in some cases. That's not how it works. The spirit world will come to you with evidence and give you information, but you have to go looking. You have to know where your awareness is at, so when that information comes in, we can receive it and decode it and give it out in evidence form. Getting back to the point that I was making about forcing the process, I know I went in a little bit of a funny little workaround of how I went flying on the ice, but that there's a stereotypical example of what the majority of mankind will do. Maybe it's not ice, maybe you are cleverer than what I am in that respect. But you'll look at something and you'll think, why can't I do that? And we'll punish ourselves. And we'll also feel aggrieved that we haven't been given these abilities or haven't been given this gift. The reality of it is, each and every one of you can do it. But what we have to do is be patient. We can't force things. When it comes into mediumship, right? I'll be completely honest with each and every one of you. It's grueling. Like, seriously. It's, when people say to me, I want to become a medium, I stop and I think, do you know what you are letting yourself in for? It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's magical. It's everything and more. But it's getting to the top. You know the way Spirit are showing me? It's like a mountain. At the very, very bottom of that mountain, before you climb to the summit, the very, very bottom, this is where you are at the start of your mediumship journey. That's actually really good, that actually. This is where you are at the very, very beginning stages. And as a human being, we're going to look to the top of the summit and we want to be there. In our mind, logically, we'll want to get to the top. We want to see that beautiful view. We want to see the scenery. We want to bask in the beauty of Mother Nature itself. Then it dawns on, to get to that view, it's going to be hard work. And in mediumship, right, using that analogy, people will get to the bottom of the mountain and go stand and look up, and they'll expect a helicopter. They'll expect a chairlift. They'll expect somebody to carry them to the very top. And it doesn't work like that. That gruel, getting from the very bottom, putting that hard work, that effort, the determination, the willpower to succeed and getting it into the very top to see those views, that's where the beauty and the magic happens. But that's where it's most frustrating. And I get it, right? Why, like, I really do. I know, like, a lot of the times when I come across and I speak about the spirit world, right, there'll be a lot of you who are like, oh my God, he just doesn't understand what he can do. He just doesn't. Why did he say it's not special? Why does he say it's not magical? Why? What you've got to realize is part of what I do, what I can prove I can do, more importantly, you have to batten down your ego. If I was to come on here and say that I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread, and I can do this, and I can do this, and I can do this, that pushes more and more people away from working with spirit. Because you think, well, hang on, I can't do any of the things. I could literally come on here, right? I could make a video and I could make myself look so amazing. It doesn't serve me and I'm not that sort of person, but you will see this happening on the World Wide Web. You'll have individuals who get a little bit of a taste of energy and then they become egotistically driven. They try to drive it away from mankind because they want to take all of it for themselves. It doesn't work in mediumship. That you have to step away from it. I fully embrace and know how beautiful the spirit world are and how amazing it is to work with for them. But you'll never see me in any way, shape or form picking it up, making it sound more special than what it is. And I know you hate us for doing that because you aren't used to that. You're used to people telling you that it's about these fluffy rainbows and clouds and gold and all of these different things are going to happen. But the reality of it is, we don't want it to be like that. Because when you are chasing that, it is never going to be what you expect. I can guarantee you. I can guarantee you 100%. And to each and every one of you, like, well, actually, I'm going to manifest it, John. I'm going to manifest it. Yeah, well, you continue to keep manifesting it. And we'll see how far you get with that. You can't manifest mediumship to happen. You can't just make it happen overnight. You can't just make it happen in a couple of weeks because you have dictated that. Mediumship is a process, it's magical, it's beautiful, and it is so frustrating. If we get it right and what understanding's in the right place, then we can alleviate a lot of the frustrations. if we can look at it realistically and go, coming back to the analogy of the mountain, I'm at the bottom of this mountain looking up, and I can see that it is so many thousands of feet in the air. Therefore, I'm going to be reasonable with my expectations, and I'm going to say, I'm going to do some training to get halfway to the summit. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to give myself a couple of days out. Then I'm going to continue the voyage and the crusade to the very top. That there is strategically putting milestones in the way that are achievable. But so many people come into mediumship and they have their expectations are wild. Things are literally right. I get it. Everyone wants to be mediums. Everyone, and to be fair, in this day and age, right, the amount of people who put the words medium and psychic in the name when they can't prove of evidence is just like literally, mediumship means nothing because it has no value. There has been no quality control. And that's what's allowed people to come onto public platforms and claim to be something they're not. Because when you ask them for evidence or you ask them to give you some sort of clarification that the spirit world are with them, there might be, or I think the spirit... I actually heard a medium who was renowned tell somebody who had come for a reading, your loved one is on holiday in spirit. They can't come to me. It hasn't been the 6-month transition period. I'm sorry? Come again? What do you mean a transition period? It's instant. From the materialistic into the spirit world, it is an instant transition. It is buttery smooth. Yet, there are human beings who tell the living that you can't contact the spirit world until a specific cut-off time. Yeah, because the spirit world used time constraints. Remember, time is a humanistic concept. It's there to govern and control the masses. That's why we have structure. That's how we have all of these different earthly traits instilled into each and every one of us. We don't have time in the spirit world. So how could you wait 6 months before communicating? Oh, sorry, my apologies. They're adjusting to the spirit world. What do you mean? We are already spirits. We are already energy. We don't need to transition. We are already energy. Sorry, everyone. I went on a little bit of a rant there, but I hope you can see why it's critical that you don't try to force mediumship, and you also don't beat yourself up with it. You also don't put yourself on a pedestal and punish yourself for why you can't do what somebody else can do. Because I can guarantee each and every one of you, right, you found this channel for a reason. And if you haven't, you're watching it as part of the video, remember to smash that like button. And if you are that 71% who watches the content but you haven't subscribed, then why not? Get subscribed, because we've got plenty more videos to come, my friend. Also, make sure that you hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. It's crazy when you think, when you look at it and you break it down like that, right? There'll be a lot of you that go, I can see what you're saying, Jordan. It doesn't make it any better for us, but I can see what you're saying. We beat ourselves up. We have no control over mediumship. And when I say no control over mediumship, you don't. Like, you seriously do not have any control over your mediumship development. What you can do is you can train your clairsenses, you can train yourself to be able to pick up on where your awareness is going. Then you can start proving with evidence, clarity, direction, and purpose, which them are the only 3 things any one of you who are coming into mediumship, clarity, direction, and purpose are the 3 things that you need to remember, because that's what is going to set you apart from the rest of mankind. That there is clear, concise information in any given moment. If you have just one of those key ingredients missing from a mediumship reading, it's no longer mediumship. Yes, there's going to be people who tell you that that's not the case, but these are the same sorts of people who are preaching from public platforms that they may have a female or may have a male. They might have this. Did you have? Could you possibly know this person? What do you mean? Hang on a minute. Hang on. Back up a second. The spirit will not come to you in this moment to speak to me. Therefore, they will be telling you what to say to me. Irrefutable proof. So I now believe that they are okay. They are well. I nearly said alive. Obviously, they're technically alive, but just not in the living sense. Why would the spirit world not tell you that information? You all know at the bottom of your hearts, if you put aside whether you like me, whether you hate me, put that aside and ask yourself the question, if the spirit world wanted to speak to you and they had a trained professional, somebody claiming to be a medium, You had went thousands of miles to go and meet this renowned medium. And by the way, this isn't an example. This isn't an example of one person. This is multiple people worldwide. This is the general consensus that mediums are allowed to adopt and to follow. That's why we're changing it. That's why we're bringing back quality control. We are bringing back a good understanding. And each and every one of you at Help Heal Serve, you are the pioneers of Help Heal Serve. You think about it like this, right? If you had a loved one in front of you and you were the medium, and that loved one's come from miles away to come and see this medium, do you think for 1 minute that the spirit world are not there in that room with you? I'm not asking you what you think you've been taught, what you think you might know. I'm asking you now, intuitively, answer that question. If you have went thousands of miles to go and speak to a medium, a trained professional, in those very moments you have went out of your own way, off your own back, you have paid fortunes of money. This is the one chance, the one opportunity that you are going to get that clarity. Because yes, you can all connect to spirit, but remember, it's not in some people's paths. You might not want to do this, and also you might not want to put the hard work and an effort in. Therefore, you have went all of your way. You have managed to arrive there. You are filled with joy, alleviated by the fact that this person is going to give you information in this moment that is going to put your mind at ease. Your loved one is now at her. Then they turn around and they say, sorry, they're in the transitioning period. Come on. What's your intuition in this moment telling us now? What is it telling you? You know that the spirit world would be there in that moment, but that human being has failed to put their awareness in the right place to bring forward the evidence. And it's crazy, isn't it? Like, to me, right? To me. And I get it. Like, I've seen the spirit world from the age of 6, so, like, maybe it's just me as a person. I'd love to know down in the comment section if you think I'm wrong on this and if you think I'm overreacting, but do each and every one of you believe that your loved one wouldn't turn up to a mediumship reading? Ask yourself the question, even if they didn't like you in this life, even if you fell out with them, even if you had bad words before this bad, listen, they're not human beings no more. They, on an energetic level, still love you. They adore each and every one of you. Do you honestly think I'm overreacting when I say that? It's wrong what is happening on this planet, where loved ones are going to mediums. They are going to get the clarity to which they seek to be able to overcome the hurdle of grief. And then they are being told that the spirit world aren't there in that moment. Do you actually genuinely think that's acceptable? Because I personally don't. Maybe it's just me, maybe it's just the way I am, but I think it's diabolical and I think it needs to change. And we can change it together as a team, each and every one of the family members, each and every one of you who watch this video, by speaking our truth. That should not be happening. It shouldn't. It's like going to a mobile shop, right? I know it's a bit of a crazy little bit of a weird of a concept, right? You going out and taking a phone contract. You've went to the shop, they've promised you this phone, they've given you this contract, and they've said, right, you're going to get this amount of minutes, you're going to pay this, you're going to pay this, you're going to pay this, and that's it. You walking out of the shop, and they've given you the different phone, they haven't given you everything they've agreed. What's the first thing that every one of you are going to do? What's the first thing you are going to do? You are going to go back in there like a raging bull, and you are going to demand to speak to a manager. You are going to demand to speak to someone who can put this mess right. But yet, it's socially acceptable for you to put your trust into a medium and for them not to give you any evidence at all, and you just think it's all right, it's fine. No, it's not fine. You just need to start speaking about it, because this is where we are all collectively going to start changing the way that mankind sees this. Spirit laughing. They're like, hey, you got that one wrong. How did you even manage to say that wrong? Please don't be hard on yourself. I know I've given you loads of examples there, and give yourself reasonable time. I know you want to connect it the quickest. Listen, we're all human beings. Have you ever heard this work smart, not hard? I fully agree with that concept and that theory, but that's mankind to a T. We work smart, not hard. In some cases, working smart isn't doing what we should be doing. It's taking shortcuts, instead of going from A to B, A to all the way over to the end of the alphabet. What we do is we just go straight past, and then we're into a completely different zone. We can't have that in mediumship. And what we can't have is you feeling sorry for yourself because you aren't where somebody else is. Listen, ego doesn't belong here. We have to understand that, yes, we might not be at the same place as other people, but that person has worked their bloody asses off. They have getting to where, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that actually, Spirit, I was saying you shouldn't have said that word, but they've worked the backsides off to get to where they actually are. And what we should be doing is, everyone should be looking at these people and not envying them, not hating them, but appreciating the effort, appreciating that they have put time and commitment in to making it work, which you can do also. What I'm not going to say you should be doing is when you see somebody who is claiming to be a medium and not offering the correct services, or, I'm not trying to breed a toxic culture of people here, but what we've got to do is we've got to make sure that we are doing what is right for the message, doing what is right for humanity. If we see somebody who's blatantly scamming someone, we should be speaking our truth. I'm not saying you should call them out personally or make nasty videos about them or even engage in any toxic behavior. What I am saying is your social responsibility to ensure, if you see somebody who's being scammed, if you see somebody who's being exploited in those moments, then say help, he'll serve. And I know it's crazy, right? And I say it all of the time, actually. It's really funny. I'll be doing a video, or I'll be watching somebody making, on TikTok, it's really bad. And I'll just be watching, Spirit will bring us to specific people at specific times. And there was once where I seen somebody who was just blatantly cold reading someone. And in the comments, they come up, help, he'll serve, help, he'll serve. And that person who was being scammed typed in help, he'll serve and found our channel and come straight over to it. You don't even have to engage in any negativity at all. All you have to do is say help, he'll serve. And that raises an alarm to the person to come to help, he'll serve, and they'll watch your channel. Actually, the person actually reached out to us, which was actually really, really beautiful, because I had no interaction with it. I didn't even know what had happened, apart from obviously what I had seen. I didn't see the full reading. I just caught the tail end of it. And then when they reached out and spoke to us about it, I was nearly in tears, to be fair. It was really nice, because this community that we've built, this family that we are just beginning to soar. I told you all at the beginning, didn't I? I says this wasn't just something that was a phase. This is something that's going to be massive. Each and every one of you are a part of it, and it's part of something special, because whenever see the difference with me, right, between other creators and other mediums is, I don't do this because I want to be liked. I do this because I have a mission. My mission is help, heal, serve, to help individuals who need healing, to heal individuals who are suffering from pain and grief, and to serve the spirit world. That's my motto, and that's what I live by. And as long as we are continuing that message and the families continuing to grow, then we're doing the right thing, aren't we? We are literally doing the right thing. It's also worth knowing that when it comes into spirit communication, right, we've got to remember that effort shouldn't supersede awareness. Awareness is paramount. You can put all of the effort you want into it. You can put each and every day, each and every moment, every second into mediumship. But if your awareness isn't in the right place, then unfortunately, it's never going to work. It's about having a happy medium balance. It's about being able to bring all of the elements of mediumship together and putting it into practice. Another thing is going to be wanting proof too soon. And what do I even mean by that crazy concept? You've got to build a relationship with the spirit world. So many people I see coming in to become a medium, right? And at the beginning of the development, it's like, I want this information, this information, this information, and this information. Go. Oh, why isn't it working? And there's a very simple mechanic that's taking place there, right? It's the wants, needs, and the desire of the individual to get that information. It's your want. This is a two-way communication. If you walked up to somebody and says, sorry, the energy got really strong there. If you walked up to somebody who you didn't know and you said, give me money, what's the first thing that they're going to do? Sorry, the energy is getting really intense with this one. What's the first thing that they're going to do? The first thing that they're going to do or even say to you is they're going to back away from you and say, go away. You're not getting no money. How about though, let's just change that around. What about in this scenario if we had built up a relationship with the person? We had got to know them on a personal level, and you went up to them in the street and says, could you borrow us some money and I'll give you back next week? The chances are probably high you're going to get that money. Well, let's say like in that situation there, that shock situation there of anti-mediumship. You, in that scenario, you are going up to the spirit world and you are saying, give me this, give me this, give me this. What do you think they're going to do? Well, that's not a relationship. We're not here to just give you what you want. We're here to help mankind. You need to work with them. We need to build a relationship. Let's liken this to somebody who has now built up a relationship with the spirit world and you've spent weeks and weeks and weeks in development, and then you go to the spirit world and say, could I possibly have this information, please? Because I've got this loved one. Oh, thank you. It's all flooding in now. Can you see the difference between, I know it's a little, I think of these little funny scenarios to kind of show you what I'm trying to say. A lot of the time, the spirit world will give us, it shows the imagery as well. So it's not just me. Oh, and by the way, right, if you ever see us on camera and I'm like gasping for air and I've got nothing medically wrong with this, I don't have any medical conditions. What happens is before I come in front of the camera, I start channeling spirit energy. And I know that looks crazy. I mean, I often look crazy anyway, so it doesn't bother me. But what you see in front of the camera is not who I normally am. I've done full videos on this explaining it. I do what's called channeling. So the spirit world and the realms will just jump through me and they'll speak certain topics. Like I don't plan any of this. I don't like say what video we're going to do today. Literally, the spirit world will come through and I'll just trust and I'll start speaking. It's really fun. I just thought I would clarify that because I know there's a lot of new people coming onto the channel and you might be like, oh, what's wrong with him? Why is he taking deep breaths and that? Is he all right? It's just sometimes the way I see it, it's like a kettle. And when I'm channeling spirit energy, that kettle is bubbling, bubbling and bubbling and bubbling to the point where it doesn't matter how many times you do it. There's just a certain point where it bubbles over. And what you've got to do is you've got to contain yourself to keep the connection. And then you kind of work your way out of it. So when you see us doing that weird like fish where I'm gasping for air, that's literally just where it's bubbled over and I've not been able to manage it. It's not because I don't know how to manage energy. I've used it all my life. But it's literally doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter how... It's one of those things where you could be have spent the entirety of your life working alongside your spirit world, and if you are connected to them authentically and you are actually sharing their energy, then it's going to happen to you all of the time. It'll happen to each and every one of you, and you'll see. And I won't look as mad. Proof of the afterlife will come with trust. Trust is built up by having a two-way communication and working together with the spirit world. How does that even look? Like, how are we going to be able to build up trust with the spirit world if you don't fully believe in them? That's going to be really difficult. I'm not going to lie to you, because for yourself, if you don't believe in them, but yet you want to work with them, there's a complete disconnect in your logic. You're trying to work with something that you don't fully believe in. One thing I would say to each and every one of you, if you are wanting to work with spirit, you've got to get rid of any doubt. Remember, why is doubt there? Why do you doubt that there's a spirit world? The majority of you are going to doubt that there's a spirit world. They're giving us some examples, and it's because you haven't heard from a loved one who's passed over, or you have been told by mankind that there is no such thing. Friends, also. Let's just tackle the first one. Your loved one has been reaching out to you. Your loved one has been trying to get you messages each and every second, every moment of every day. They have been with you at your times of happiness and also your times of sadness. They've been by your side each and every second. Your awareness hasn't allowed you to see that. Your awareness is what's caused you to believe that there is no such thing as a spirit world. Well, I looked after me dad for so many times. Why didn't he come to see me? Why hasn't he? He has come to see you on many of occasions. A lot of the times, the spirit world will come to you in dreams. And again, coming back to what you are expecting, all of you expect the spirit world to visit you and to be this big, massive spectacle. They don't need to make it a spectacle. And the truth and the reality of it is, the more of a spectacle that it becomes, the harder it is for you to ever achieve. Don't chase validation. Don't chase a connection. Don't chase the spirit world to do this for you. We have to be honest with ourselves and realize that this takes time to forge a connection. It's not literally, right? You can watch every one of my videos, and that doesn't mean to say you're going to be a medium. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I don't want to put you off. I don't want... But if you've got... The way I see it, right? Every one of you who come to this channel can become mediums. You can all become mediums. But I see each and every one of you like a jigsaw. And to me, this jigsaw is beautiful. It's majestical. I'm seeing you where this jigsaw is going to be going. At this moment in time, the jigsaw has been fragmented. Somebody's took this jigsaw and just went, and it's all over the floor now. And it's my job to piece together and put it all back into where it needs to be. That's the stage I see each and every one of you. I know everyone's like, oh, that's a weird way to see people and human beings is a jigsaw. But I do. Every person who I work with, there is a different piece missing. And it's my job to find it and to put it back in, to give you understandings that's going to work for you. That being said, right, for each and every person, one of those pieces could be a poor understanding due to fear-based notions. It could be that you don't believe. It could be that you don't trust. It could be that you don't want to believe. There's many different things. Like, seriously, it's not just like a one little tick sheet. Mankind are good with their tick boxes, aren't they? They just think it's going to be one little tick box here and one little tick box there, and then that's it all fine. The reality of it is, which it sounds really harsh, is because you are all unique, you all have unique things that we have to overcome. We have unique hurdles that have been put in your way before we can operate on a mediumistic level. I hope you understood that. Why don't we come over to the next section? I know we've already mentioned this at the beginning, but I want to do a full segment dedicated to this. I've already touched up on it, but so it's going to be really quick, this. But you, my friend, are unique. You are special. You have what it takes. You have the abilities to become not just a great medium, but to become the greatest version of yourself. And that's not me being a cop-out. It's not me just trying to say something to try and look good. It's the reality of it. Do not try to be like somebody else. All of these mainstream schools, all of these other educators, I'm not going to speak for all of them, but the majority of them, they'll say that this is just, there's one way to do this. I'm telling you now that there is not one way to do this. There is a way of doing this that is morally and ethically correct, where we are gaining evidence, but for every person, that's going to look very, very different. Don't fall into the slippery slope that mankind have put before you of trying to fit in, trying to be like everyone else, doing what everyone else tells you. I know, right? People look at me and they think that I'm arrogant. They think that I don't know what I'm talking about. Even though, logically speaking, the fact that I can prove with evidence should disprove whatever nasty things they say about me. I often still even get messages of people, comments on YouTube, to be honest, right? If you're somebody who just likes to leave nasty comments, I don't tolerate it. That's one of the big things on the channel. That's why you'll never see any of the family members being nasty to another family member. You won't see it. Because as soon as I spot somebody who is a bad apple and doesn't want what is best for other people, they're blocked and removed from the channel. I don't play games. I don't mess around. Know this. If you aren't wanting to embrace this, if you aren't wanting to step into your own power, to be the person you ought to be, this is going to be really difficult because so many people will see you start to succeed, especially if watching this channel. And that's not ego speaking, that's just fact. How many people, you can look in anyone in the comment section, other people, not me, will tell you that they start connecting as soon as they start listening to some of the ideologies. And it's not because I'm special. It's not because the spirit will give me magic powers. It's literally because we spit facts. We aren't bothered about following the rest of the herd. We are here to set new trends, and that's exactly what we are doing with Help Heal Serve. The reason why you haven't been able to connect mediumistically it's not because you can't, it's because you haven't been allowed to. Mankind have suppressed you, mankind have given you the wrong understandings, notions, and theories. Therefore, it's paramount for you to see this opportunity and to make it your own. And what I want you all to do is to ask yourself the question: do you want to be like everyone else? Or do you want to be unique? The second of those options what are really what you need to be. You can't, and I don't want you to just fit in. I need you to aim for the skies. We're going to make great medium out of you. You're going to, but believe me when I say this, when you start soaring and you start speaking your truth and we get you confident in your mediumship abilities and capabilities, you, my friend, have to be ready, because there are going to be so many people who will say nasty things about you, who will want you to fail, who will say that you don't know what you're doing. Because unfortunately, we're living in a day and age, right, where people don't want you to be yourself. They want you to be cocooned into the box that society wants you to be in, because that's the way it should be. That's the way you should look. No, you should just bow down and let us pat you on the head. This is the way that this works in mediumship. No, it is not. You, my friend, be yourself. You be unique and make yourself proud. And more importantly, work with the spirit world, because it's them who are ultimately brought you to this channel. It's them in this moment, here and now. You are watching at this point because they needed you to hear what I've just said. You are going to prove, not just to everyone around you, you are going to prove to yourself, more importantly, that you have what it takes. And you have always had these abilities. You aren't being given special gifts, special powers. It's nonsense. You are being given an understanding, and you are going to make this magical. One of the biggest things that each and every one of you need to realize is ego is like the biggest thing that will kill and destroy and sever any authentic connection with the spirit world. And this is something that you have to deal with. It's not something that the spirit world can deal with. It's not something that anyone else can deal with. You yourself have to address the ego within your mediumship. And to anyone who's new to the channel and you've just popped in, right, I've got a full series, How to Become a Psychic Medium, where it's in the playlists. I think it's playlists. Yeah, it is playlists. And it's also in the course section on the YouTube platform. And you'll notice at the very, very beginning stages, before we come into any mediumship development, because I actually had a lot of people who were asking, when's the mediumship going to start, John? Because a lot of people were, oh, well, we want to do the mediumship series. We can't wait. It's a full tutorial. That's absolutely amazing. Video 4 comes and they're still doing self-development, and no one could understand it. But it's for this exact reason. To understand who you truly are and to iron out your flaws as a human being. And when I say flaws, I don't mean that in a nasty way. You've got to realize there are going to be traits to you that are going to be undesirable. There are going to be traits to you that are desirable. And we have to find the desirable traits we have and the undesirable traits we've got, and we need to make them work in conjunction. Undesirable traits would be somebody who is egotistical, narcissistical. They don't want to help mankind, they want to help themselves. All of these sorts of things we need to get rid. It doesn't serve the greater version of yourself. We need you to take the traits that you have and to refine those traits, the good traits, the positive traits, the traits that are going to give back to mankind. And what we are going to do is we are going to take them and we are going to emphasize them. We are going to start refining them. The traits that we got rid of, we need to make sure that they are long gone. A lot of people, and honestly, I guarantee you can go on to Tickety Talk, FaceB, you can go on to YouTube, I say it, Instagram. I say it funny like that to each and every one of you. Like, why does he say like that? It's because sometimes you've got to be very careful of what you say in these videos. It's not because I don't know how to pronounce them. It's just, obviously, you've got to be very careful with some of the words that you use, and so you're not bad-mouthing certain companies and stuff. You go on to any one of these platforms at any moment, and in fact, here is your homework. Sorry, I didn't mean to poke. I hope I didn't poke in either. Here is your homework. For the next week, every one of you watching this video, for the next week, I want you to scour the internet. Not in a bad way and not in a nasty way. I know I said about speaking your truth, but this is research. This isn't for you to act on. This is just for you to see so I can prove my point. And what I would like you to do is to find as many mediums as you can, as many mediums, and watch them either at work, watch the videos, watch how to do things, and you yourself learn from them. And when I say that, I don't mean teachings and understandings, learn what not to do. I can guarantee you, right, there'll be 90% of the mediums who fail to acknowledge the fact they've got an ego. You'll very easy to spot these. They'll be like, you do. And the person will be like, no, I don't understand what you're saying. You do understand what I'm saying. Or they'll be like, they're full of themselves. And it's good to have confidence. It's good to be full of yourself in some cases. Remember, refining our good senses. However, when you are full of yourself and you don't know what you're doing, that becomes a problem, because then that is bringing, introducing the mediumship, and that is giving a last look, a last view for mankind to see what medium should be. And that's not what it's about. I want each and every one of you to watch these mediums, dissect them, and find, right? I guarantee, just by the wordage you use, just by the way that they deflect things when it's going wrong, the way that they put themselves on this pedestal, I know for a fine fact each and every one of you are going to find a good view. Don't message them. I don't want you hating on them. That's not what this is for. This is for to prove to you, coming into the rest of these videos, that I know what I'm talking about. Like, seriously, I don't need to come onto this platform, right, and say anything other than facts, things that I can prove, and things that I've experienced. I work direct with the spirit world. That's why you watches. You know that I do. Like, there's not one person on this planet. Well, there is some people who watch and they're just like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. But then you see it's on me paranormal research videos where I'm getting tables lifted onto one leg and I'm getting all of these different things happening. And you're like, well, actually, hang on. Not only does he know this information about spirit and he can help us to connect, which it actually works, he's getting things lifted up for him. He's getting things floating across rooms for him. It doesn't take a lot of common sense, human logic to see, I know what I'm talking about. And each and every one of you will be like this. And it's not a facade. It's not a confidence thing. It's not an ego thing. It's not a narcissistical thing. It's not an arrogance thing. It's a factual thing. I base everything that I do on things that I can prove. That's why I would love it if you could even reach out to us private messaging some of your homework. I know it's probably going to be a bit too difficult to put it in the comment section on here, right? But private messages on Facebook, private messages on Instagram, you'll be able to find it. Type in help, you'll serve. It's not hard. And just let us know what you have seen. Let us know what you've learned from it. Let us know what you've taken from it, more importantly. The word gift, let us just, like, I know I choke up when I say it. I hate the word gift. The word gift needs eradicated from the face of the earth when it comes into mediumship development, because that one word can kill somebody from actually even wanting to try. Because how many of you have heard David's gifted, Maria's gifted, Angela's gifted, so amazing? How many of you knew coming into mediumship would then look and go, do I have these gifts? This is difficult enough. This is difficult enough, believers, when I say that. Never mind wondering if you have gifts to be able to do this. You do have humanistic abilities, and what one human being can do, every human can do. That is a fact. Each and every one of you can become great mediums if you want to. It's all about your awareness, your clairsenses, refining them, your extrasensory perceptions, making sure that you can dial into them when it's necessary. The word and terminology gift implies that you have had something bestowed upon you. You have been anointed from the gods. You have been chosen by the gods. Spirit will have chosen you because you were just an amazing person. If you're like nodding, you're like, oh yeah, that's what happened. The major one, it was a really good story. Stop. Because that there is going to fuel your ego. I don't care how good you think you are. I don't care what your story was up to that point. And I don't mean that to sound nasty. But you need to know that what you are doing, every person on this planet can do. And I'm not saying it because I want to spoil your fantasy or what happened, your delusion, or, what happened in your moment. But for you to believe that you are above every other human being, it's not going to go well for you in mediumship. There are people who make a very good living from it, and they do believe they're better than everyone else. But we aren't breeding that sort of toxicity into the world. We are given this a new direction. We are given, in the darkened abyss that mankind is before, we are bringing the light. We are bringing a change. And that change must be that every person alive on this planet can exercise their abilities of mediumship if they want to. There's no such thing as gifts. We're coming away from that ideology. We don't need that to be stepping in our way as a milestone. Let's get rid of everything that doesn't serve us. Get rid of every notion, theory that has not served mankind. Let's eradicate it, strip it away from everything, and bring it back to the basics. Bring it back to where the everyday person can and will use and execute mediumship in their everyday lives, each and every second and every moment of every day. Don't let ego spoil it. Because if you're somebody who follows this channel, believe me, your ego will be obliterated. Not in a nasty way, not like in a physical way, but if you are wanting these teachings, I don't tolerate people with egos. If you are working selfless and you aren't operating on a selfish level, then your ego shouldn't be an issue to you. You should be wanting to get rid of your ego. If you are doing this because you are wanting to just take, and it's all about you, it's not about helping people, then I've got a problem with that, if I'm honest, because that isn't to help the everyday person. That there is just you wanting to be above every other person. And the problem that I have with that is there are so many mediums out there who have that as their ideology. They adopt that way of thinking. And look where we are in the year 2026. We have people who are still struggling to even comprehend that they have the abilities to communicate with the afterlife. And it's sad. It genuinely, it upsets us. Because I know that every one of mankind can communicate with the afterlife. It's why I'm so passionate about doing it. I dwell up thinking about it. Because the spirit world, when they come through me and they channel through me, I feel their pain, their emotion, the suffering that they go through, and everything that they are trying to achieve by getting that information to their loved one. And then you have some fool who comes along saying that you need a gift. And then all of that hard work the spirit world have done is now been undone because the person is never going to be able to connect, because they have now implanted in the forefront of the mind that they have to be gifted to be able to communicate. Stops now, stops here. Each and every one of you know that there is no such thing as gifts. What we have are humanistic abilities. What one human being can do, you all can do. Let's come over to the next section. How many of you have, let's light this sage, let's light this sage, let's get the holy water, douse Jordan in holy water. How many of you have been lured into this sense of security that for you to feel comfortable with working with spirits, with working with energy, you have to protect? Be honest with yourself. I know I don't like that little funny thing. To me, it's hilarious. It really does. I've never once protected, never once will protect. You have to protect from poor understandings and bad teachings. With a good understanding, it supersedes the notion of protection. That in itself allows you to connect instantly. Right? To each and every one of you who feel aggrieved by the fact that I find it kind of comical, if I'm honest. If you feel aggrieved by saying that, don't hate on us. The way that I work alongside of the spirit world and the way that I can prove that I work alongside of the spirit world, it's not necessary. What we do as human beings, we introduce humanistic practices into our world when we have a lack of understanding. And again, that isn't to mean you any offense, right? I'm not saying that you don't know what you're doing. I don't know. I'm not saying that. Sorry, everyone, the energy's getting intense. I'm not saying that you don't know how to communicate. I'm not saying that you've never communicated. All I'm saying is you, through your power of your own suggestion, have welcomed notions and ideologies and traits and practices into your mediumship to make you feel safe. We can agree on that, can't we? Like, by you introducing these rituals, it's making you feel safe. What I need to do is to remove that thought, that feeling, and that sensation. I need you to realize that you don't need to feel safe. You are safe. There is no lotion, potion, man-made notion, theory, ideology that will protect you from energy. Like, if the spirit world in the realms wanted to remove mankind from this planet overnight, listen, we wouldn't stand a chance. We wouldn't stand a chance. Take from that, though, the fact that it doesn't happen, does it? How many times do you hear that the spirit world have been terrorizing your friends? How many times do you hear that the spirit world have terrorized a neighborhood? How many times do you see on the news that the spirit world are terrorizing entire cities? They are leaving people homeless. They are slaughtering. Yeah, you just get where I'm going with this. Mankind are the evil ones. It's mankind who, as a species, like to cause destruction. We like to destroy everything in the path. We like to dominate. We like to conquer. We like to control. When it comes over into protecting from the spirit world, right? Please understand this. I see each and every one of you, not just as jigsaws, but as a reference point. And I do apologize if you have seen this before. I see every one of you is having energy reserves. And you'll all be like, well, we do, because I know that I can prove that if I go to work one day, the next day I'm extremely tired. Therefore, my energy reserves have been used. Keep that in mind. On a good night's sleep, what's going to happen is this bottle is going to be full with liquid. That liquid represents your energy. It's full. Well, it's not full, so I'm going to have to cover it. But let's just pretend it's full. Right at the brim, right at the very, very cap. It's full. You are fully charged. You've had a good night's sleep. You're ready to take on another day. That's it. It's great. Then we go on the school run. We then go and cut the grass. We then go and do this. Our energy reserves are very, very, well, it's less than half now, isn't it? What's going to happen then if we then want to do a mediumship reading? Yes, we use the spirit world's energy in a reading, but we still have to maintain our own energy levels. For example, right? If I was to now, if this was my energy now, and I was to do a reading for someone, how much of that do you think I'm going to use? I'm not. Instant. Straight in the spirit. Straight getting evidence, straight back to where I am. Bish, bosh, bang, done, thank you, please, next. That's as simple as it needs to be. However, if I had welcomed into my understanding because I was scared of evil spirits, I was scared of this, I was scared of that, and I had welcomed traits into it, what I might need to do now is to use some of this energy to do a 15-minute cleanse. I might also need to do a 15-minute meditation just to make sure that I was bringing forward the clean energies. I might then need to light sage just to make sure that the connection's going to take place and there is nothing negative in my room. Can you see? Sorry, everyone, I've got like a little bit of skin on my lip or something, and it's really annoying us. Could you imagine, and can you see how quick it escalates from just being a small and easy and quick way of gaining information to using all of our energy reserves? It's effectively for me, the way I see it, right? It's to take your understandings and to cut out every unnecessary action that you've welcomed into it. A lot of people feel annoyed by that. A lot of people feel like, oh, I'm doing bad things. But you can't argue with the fact. You can't argue with the proof. You can't argue with what you can visibly see. I can help each and every one of you to connect. We don't need to be doing this. You don't need to be saying prayers and rituals and doing all of these different things before working alongside the spirit world. What you need to have and be armed with is a good understanding. To any one of you who are like, well, Jordan, you don't make sense. That doesn't make sense. There are naughty spirits. There are evil spirits. There are lingering spirits. There are trapped souls. There are souls that just want to come and take our souls. We've got this. Entertainment is really bad to learn and understanding from. And whilst I say that, right, a lot of you might be a bit miffed by what I'm actually trying to get across here, but if you've built an understanding around Hollywood, you've built an understanding around what other people have told you, you've built an understanding about what books have taught you, and you haven't built an understanding about a raw, true affection, a connection to the spirit world, then it's always going to be difficult for you. It really is. You're going to listen to me and you'll be like, no, I feel comfortable with protecting. If you want to be a medium, right, and you want to protect, I'm not going to take that away from you. What I am going to do is I'm going to say that it is unnecessary. You don't need to protect. You have to protect from poor understandings and bad teachings. If you reincite that in your mind over and over again, look how much sense it makes. Try the next time, right, before you go to do a reading, or the next time you try to connect to spirit, or you go to do anything with the spirit world, before you do that, repeat that in your mind. You don't need to protect from the spirit world or the realms. You have to protect from poor understandings and bad teachings. Put it at the bottom of your bed. As soon as you wake up, read it. Implant it in the forefront of your mind. Get rid of mankind's notions and theories that you need to protect from energies, and work with it instantly. Each and every one of you will thank us. Each and every one of you will be like, oh, I can't believe how quick I connected to the spirit world there. Yes, because you didn't have 45 minutes of different rituals that you'd done before it to take place. It was instant. I know it's not for everyone. And sometimes I come across really like passionate about certain topics, and protecting from the spirit world is one of the biggest things that you're all going to find. It's going to hinder you and slow you down in your mediumship. Because rather than it just being a quick, instant transition to gaining that information, it's actually difficult enough learning mediumship. It really is. It's difficult enough to learn the basics. It's difficult enough to forge a unique connection to the spirit world. Never mind introducing man-made notions and theories where we are doing protection rituals and saying this and doing this and doing this. I actually laugh sometimes, right? Because I've seen a lot of like paranormal teams who will do like house cleanses, and you'll see them on the TV and they're like, oh, we're removing this negative energy from this home. And it must be scary for the homeowners who don't understand what's happening, but it's easily explained. Like, I can explain it to somebody, I can help them understand. I won't remove energy because human beings can't remove energy. We are human beings living in the materialistic world. Energy beings are energy. They're in abundance. You can't remove energy. It doesn't matter what people tell you. It doesn't matter what religion tells you. Remember, if you believe that religion can remove energy, religion isn't of energy. It's written by the fingers of man. It's been brought to mankind's attention by passed down from generation to generation by different person to different person, different ideologies, different ways of thinking. We can prove that. It's very, very simple, very, very easy to prove, actually. But religion isn't of energy. Therefore, mankind believes something that mankind have done can remove energy. It really doesn't sit well with me, that, to be honest with you. And we shouldn't be trying to move energy. What we should be doing is when somebody's getting scared because occurrences are happening in their homes, is give them a good understanding. Explain to them why it's happening. Explain to them how to work alongside of energy. And then they can live in unison, because they're going to anyway. There's literally, energy's been here a lot longer than us folks, seriously. I mean, each and every one of you are energy, and each and every one of you have been on this planet at least 7 times, so take with that what you will. When it comes over to removing energy from homes, I've seen, getting back on the point, I've seen loads of these TV crews who've went into a location and they've been like, actually, there's only like one paranormal team that I genuinely do like watching, and that's Ghost Adventures. I love Zach, I love Aaron. They're really good at everything that they do. And I think that they do bring it through in kind of the most authentic way that you'll see. I genuinely do think the heart's in the right place, and I know that the spirit world work with them. The spirit will tell us things, so I know that they work with them, and that's what I want to do, exactly what they do. And there was one episode, right, that I was watching, and you seen the guys had come in, this person was on the house calls, and the person was like, like crying, and she was like, I need help, come and help. And a lot of the time, don't remember, this is for entertainment, but you could see that this person was visibly scared. And the activity in the house was the realm, so it's naturally going to be a little bit more different to what the spirit world are, a little bit more intense. They then proceeded to do house clearance, because obviously human beings, like I've just said, can remove energy, can't they? Yep. And then they've done this clearance, And then they went back to the homeowner about 3 to 4 weeks later to get an update. And the person, bless her, looked like she hadn't slept for weeks. And I'll tell you the reason why it then got worse. It wasn't because of the ritual that mankind had done. The energy had always been there. The energy hadn't left. But the person, through the power of suggestion of the show, through the power of suggestion that they could remove something that was taking place in that home, they had planted the seed that things were going to stop. When it didn't stop, this caused more anxiety. This caused more fear. What's happening? Why is it still happening? I've just seen them light sage and cleanse the house. Is it something even more evil? No, it's because they couldn't physically do that in the first place. Mankind will tell you all sorts. It's like you have people who say that they work with remove demons and all of these different things. Listen, you don't remove energy. The realms, you cannot remove them. The spirit world, you can't remove them. However, let's just reiterate something there, right? The spirit world want to work with each and every one of you. So do the realms. Do you think it's in their interest to not play a ball? For example, if you're a paranormal investigator and you're like me and you like the darker side of things and you like the growls and you like things being thrown and that, it excites us. I love it. If you're that sort of person, do you think that the spirit world won't do that for you? Of course they will. They'll do it for you. It's not because there's something evil there and it's trapped and it's trying to harbour souls and collect souls. They'll do it for the entertainment value. They know that they are going to reach more people. What's their message? Life goes on. Therefore, if you can prove irrefutable proof of life going on, you are working with them anyway, even though you don't realise. Same with the realms. They have...
Same with the realms. They have... Same with the realms. They have...
the same. So it makes sense that it would work with you. It makes sense that if you believe that, I've had this before, people, when they've mentioned about trapped souls, spirit don't get trapped, souls don't get trapped. It's an instant transition. And people like me can prove it. It's not just words. I can prove it. I can give evidence. I've got 2 stories of accounts where I've passed over information to loved ones for somebody who was in that moment dying and on their way and transitioning over. So I've got full stories that can back me up. It's not just something that I believe, not something I've read. It's something I've lived. And I think that's more credible than just willy-nilly picking out things out of a hat. When you've experienced something and you can prove it, then it becomes real. You can prove it. You can validate it. Yeah, I mean, I think what I'm going to do is I think we'll leave that one there. I know there's going to be a lot of you who don't really like this section, and you've probably thought, well, no, Jordan, I think you're wrong there. You're going to think that. Listen, I knew when I come into this line of work, I wasn't going to be liked. I knew when I come into this line of work that my teachings, my understandings are the polar opposite to what every other medium teach. I'm under no illusion that there are going to be 90% of the people who see this video who'll be like, oh, I don't really agree, but I can't argue with the fact that he can help us connect. I can't argue with the fact that I've done this one exercise that he said and it works. This is something that each and every one of you have inherited. This ideology that you've taken on has been absorbed over years and years and years and years. So hearing it like this, hearing it in this way, yes, it's probably not going to hit home with a lot of you. A lot of you might not fully want to believe it. A lot of you might not believe it in any way, shape or form. But I can only tell you how it is. You should never protect from the spirit world of the realms. You have to protect from poor understandings and bad teachings. If we can eliminate those bad teachings and bad understandings, misunderstandings in some cases, not just bad, misunderstandings, if we can eliminate them, then we can use and utilize each and every aspect of you as a person, all of your energy reserves, and we can put it straight into our mediumship connections, strengthening the connection. What would you rather do? Spend 30 minutes doing rituals that you believe work, which we can easily disprove that they don't work, or would you rather spend 30 minutes forging a connection that's going to have irrefutable proof? It's going to help you to gain insights. It's going to help you to gain evidence from the afterlife. What would you prefer? Like, ask yourself now, what do you think would be more better for your development going forward? That 30 minutes of connection time, or 30 minutes of just messing around? I know what I would pick. Anyway, let's come over to the next section. Overthinking every experience that you have is it's difficult, right? Because I get it, right? If you are somebody in this life who questions everything, overthinks everything, it's not a bad thing. It's good to be on the edge of caution. But when you come into mediumship and you adopt that way of thinking, it can become devastating. Spirit worlds, everything that comes to you from the spirit world, right? It's not the way that mankind have portrayed it. It's not the way that mankind have told it's going to be. It's not going to be a big spectacle. It's not going to be that the heavens are going to part and then all of a sudden you're going to see a unicorn coming down with your loved one on, waving to you and giving you this holy grail and this message. It's not going to be like that. Not in any way, shape or form. It's about the subtleties. We can pick up the subtleties by knowing where our awareness is. If our awareness is in the right place, then the subtleties are going to be like a steam train. It's going to hit you so hard, you're going to... But in the first instance, on a sensitivity level, right, it isn't about the grandness of it. It isn't about that majestical spectacle that you are waiting for. What it's about is having awareness to be able to decipher the subtleties within mediumship. Sorry, the energy got really strong there. Second guessing yourself is always going to become a problem. And I get it, right? Let's just talk about second guessing myself. Let's talk about it for a second, right? What do I mean by that? If you are somebody who finds it difficult to believe that you could ever be a medium, that's second guessing yourself. That there is a prime example of someone who is going to have very much difficulties with this. Now, I can put that to bed right here in this video. You are good enough. You found this video for a reason. The fact that you are at this part of the video, right, you've watched it from the start to the finish. Therefore, my friend, you are on the right path. This was always destined to be. You are in this second, in this moment, in this part of the video for the very, very right time. But let's look at it in a different way. If you are somebody who hesitates, you second guess everything that you want. For example, you're very flighty in the decision making, the way that you have. That there can also cripple mediumship. Because if you're like, well, I might do this, I might do that, I might do this, I might do that, I might do this, I might do that, I might do this, this, could it be, what if, what possibility? Do not bring that mentality in the mediumship, because you are going to have a very difficult time. If you are somebody who is like that, then what we need to do is we need to form an avatar. We need to get you away from being that person. And when you come into mediumship, and before anyone says, oh, you shouldn't do that, Jordan, you've got to be yourself. For some people, it's very difficult. For some people, I get it. It's difficult for you to kind of come into the mediumship lane and be able to decipher things. Maybe you've got ADHD, right? It's no excuse. I've got it. You might have other forms of, disabilities, or you might have illnesses. You might have many different things within the human form. And it's going to be difficult. However, what we can do is we can mitigate all of those different problems. We can mitigate all of these different things by knowing and understanding that in this very moment, I am working with the spirit world. Everything that comes through in this second is of spirit. That's as simple as it needs to be. It's not about, was that spirit? Did they say that? And it all comes down to being ready to receive. I'm not going to say open and work. I'm not going to be saying close to work and all of these different ideologies at mankind. All I'm going to say is, in this moment, if you've placed your intent and you are thinking of spirit, spirit can be whatever you want it to be, by the way. It could be little leprechauns, it could be little daisies. You could even have, right? You could even have animals in spirit talking to you. It doesn't matter. The spirit will are going to cloak an avatar. They're going to come to you in whatever way, shape, or you see fit. They are going to want to work with you in those moments. Therefore, if you, my friend, are very flighty and you go, I've placed my intent, I would like information from a spirit world. If you've forged a connection, what's going to happen next is you are going to start getting information. If you haven't forged a connection, this is what you have to do. But then over time, you will start getting information coming through. you need to accept it as information from spirit. Don't question it. Even if you are that person who questions everything, don't be that person in mediumship. You can't. It's going to be so difficult for you anyway. Never mind introducing that. We have to realize and we have to make new mechanisms within the human form. When we are working with spirit, everything in this second, everything in this moment is of spirit. When I am not looking for spirit, when I am not wanting spirit communication to take place, everything else can be chaotic. Everything else can, you just go along and just do whatever you want. But as long as you know in those moments, once you've placed your intent, everything from that second on is of spirit. Everything afterwards is not of spirit. And you can just go on and live your lives. It's I say live your lives, right? It's crazy being a medium. It's crazy seeing the dead on a daily basis. It's crazy. You live your life the best you can, I suppose. I mean, I have a comfortable life. I have a nice life. I have a beautiful life. But it is a little bit crazy, some of the things, sights that you see and some of the experiences that you go through. Because there's not really many people you can talk to about it. There isn't really. Right, let's come over to the next section. Remember not to drown out the experience that you are having with the spirit world over your human logic. So many people, right, when it comes into spirit communication, we logically try to methodically work it out. How many of you have went into a reading and have expected it to happen in a certain way? That's because the brain wants to be able to control the outcome. It wants to be able to control how it's going to take place. It wants to be able to control the information that's coming through. And the problem is you can't have that attitude. In mediumship, you cannot have that attitude at all. Unfortunately, right, what we'll have to do is to build trust with the spirit world, be ready to receive and ready to speak. We have literally no control over the outcome of reading. I've said this on so many times. There's so many people who are like, oh, you've got to give a nice reading. It's got to be a lovey-dovey reading. They've got to feel like they've been uplifted when they leave that room. And I say to those sorts of people, what on earth are you talking about? Like, mediumship has never been about that. It's not about the fluffy-dovey clouds. It's not about the way that mankind have taught you to be. Mediumship is hard-hitting. A lot of the time when you are doing a mediumship reading, right, and like come away from like the learning sides of it and come away from like having a bit of a laugh with your friends. But on a more serious level, when you come into a mediumship reading, right, the person who's in front of you, you could be their last hope. You could be their last chance at gaining closure on a situation. It's life-changing. Not a game. It's not there to be mocked, to have a joke about. It's very, very serious. By you trying to methodically think how it's going to work out and plan, it isn't going to work for you. Please don't be that person. Please don't try to control mediumship, because it's a beast. It can't be controlled. And when I say a beast, right, I mean that in the nicest way possible, the funnest way possible, in the happiest way possible, but also in the most frustrating way possible. Because it doesn't matter how long you do mediumship, you will never be perfect. No human being can be perfect. We are here to refine ourselves. We're here to consistently grow, to learn, to thrive in different situations, to learn new things. I think we're going to come over to the next section. I think we've said everything we need to on this one. One of the biggest things with mediumship, you'll hear us saying it all of the time, till the cows come home. Do not bypass self-development. The person that you are in mediumship is mirrored from your everyday life. I mentioned this on many of different videos, and I do apologize if you've heard us saying this before, but it's crucial. It's very, very vital. It's important that you understand this. At the core of who you are, we need you to know who you are and what you have to offer to the spirit world. It's no good you coming into this spirit world, right, and working alongside of them as a medium if you haven't ironed out your flaws. I'll give you a little bit of an example. If your name is Jenna, I hope you, like, I'm not saying that this is you, Jenna, by the way, but if your name's Jenna and you've come into mediumship, and truth be told, not many people like you. Not in a nasty way, But sometimes you have that quirky way about you where you very easily upset people. You very easily say things that people find offense to. That there coming into mediumship is a red flag. And I'll tell you the reason why. You are working with people who emotionally are at their wits' end. Emotionally, they need help. Emotionally, you say the wrong thing or you say something that you think's funny and it isn't funny in that environment, then this problem is going to have this problem for this person is going to not just be magnified. They're going to think, well, hang on, the spirit world have led me to this person who's then just said something that's offended me. What sort of a sick game is this? What sort of a sick joke is this? That's why what we would need to do is see this is a bad trait. We would need to address this in the first instance. You may be somebody who is overly friendly with everyone. The problem that we have with being over friendly with everyone is not only do you get burdened with everyone's problems, which again, that sounds really horrible, doesn't it? But you as a person have to be able to value your own time, your own commitment to a situation. I'll give you a little bit of an example, right? The last time we done one-to-one tutoring, I was kind of new coming into the tutoring side of it, even though I've always wanted to help people to be able to help themselves. It was kind of a complete step. It was like a leap of faith into it. I didn't learn much about how the processes worked. I didn't look into any of that. And I give me number out. Stupidly, I'll never do it again. But I give me mobile number out, me active mobile number out to people who are on the course. And to those of you who were on the course, you know, I'm not meaning each and every one of you. There was only one person who done this. And I found very, very quick how little other people respected my time or me to go out and live my life. Because the way I see it, right, is I love to help everyone. I love to help the spirit world. But I still have to live my life. Like, that's literally that. There's no ifs or buts about it. That's it. So I have my time and I have my own quality time and I have my time with my son and I have my time with spirit. But I found out at the very beginning stages the implications of effectively welcoming people into your world and giving them your private number, because I was getting phone calls at 1 o'clock in the morning and drunk phone calls off people as well. There's nothing that more infuriates me than having that. It really just, because it just shows a complete lack in disregard to my circumstances. And long story short, you can all learn from this. Don't expect mankind to appreciate your own personal time. And if you are that lovey-dovey person who just loves everyone and you want to wear everyone else's problems and you find out everyone, you are going to burn out, my friend. That is not a good thing to have. The fact that everyone comes to you and drops their problems on you, that is your problem. That's something that we need to address. We can't be this person who's blasé and just taking on everyone's problems willy-nilly. Being an empath isn't just about that. It's about being able to sustain your own longevity, to be able to live out your earthly existence and not be bombarded with everybody's problems. Again, a lot of you, that might hit home. You might be like, oh my God, I never thought of it like that, John. I know it sounds nasty, but it's not nasty. Thinking of yourself first isn't a nasty trait to have. It's about you realizing that there are other people that can do mediumship, not just you. There are other people who can help these people, not just you. It's about wearing that empath badge with pride, but also wanting and acknowledging that you need to live your own life also as part of that. It's so easy in mediumship to kind of overlook your self-development. It really is, right? Because like coming back to the analogy that I give with the mountain, right? In the analogy with the mountain, when we're at the bottom and we're looking to the very top and we can see the top in sight and we just want to get to the top. We just want to get to the peak. Oh, I can't wait. I want to see everything. I want to see everything in its glory. That is the excitement, isn't it? That's what draws us to it. That's what we want. We want to be able to just stand on that podium and give that information to a loved one. We want to be able to sit in the comfort of our own homes and be able to just communicate with people and with the spirit world. It's exciting. But don't forget the in-between parts. The in-between parts in this respect for self-development. This is you before you've even embarked on the crusade to the top of that mountain. It's at the interim period. It's basically getting out of the car and getting to the bottom of the mountain. It's the way Spirit saying. It's like getting out of your car in the car park and walking to the bottom of the mountain. That small section is the most monumental part of the entire journey. Because if you don't do that part, then you can't even succeed in the rest. Make sure that you put a lot of emphasis on your personal development. Learn who you are. Learn, for example, right, if you are somebody who is extremely loud, extremely boisterous, you're extremely opinionated, this can work for you, but in some situations it's not going to work for you. You need to know when to be able to adapt. You may be somebody who's extremely quiet, extremely placid. You don't like to... This is also going to be a problem because you need to have confidence. You need to be able to speak your own truth. And you can't speak your own truth if you are placid and you are calm all of the time and you don't want to offend anyone. You don't want to affect anyone. Listen, it's not about affecting people's worlds and making them second guess you, or it's about you being realistic with what you are trying to achieve. And we can't have that, right, if we are ignoring emotional wounds, more importantly. And I know a lot of you are like, oh, where did that just come from? Emotional wounds is something that every one of you are going to suffer from. Every one of you need to acknowledge. I had things that I had to overcome before I could embark on my journey. There were wrongs that I had done that I had to put right. There were things about me that I had to swallow my pride and I had to say, right, going forward, what's the best way for me to be able to achieve my end goal? There's something that I need to do. There's something that I'm holding on to from the past, doesn't serve us now. I need to let it go. How do I let it go? This could be a relationship. This could be something else. This could be many different, maybe it's a friendship. And how many of you are in this moment now thinking about that and using energy on it? I'll tell you one thing, right? It takes more energy to hate than it does to forgive. I'm not saying that you have to find a way to forgive people who've done you absolute hideous crimes or done something towards you that you actually despise them for. I'm not saying that you need to forgive them and go up to them and give them a handshake and a cuddle and tell them everything's all right. But what I want you to do is to understand that the fact that you are still holding on to that, it no longer serves you. For this next episode, for this next journey of your life, we'll have to look past it. We have to see it for what it is, for what happened, yes. We can't forgive them and be the friend, not a problem. We don't need to do that. I'm not asking you to do that. But what I'm asking you to do is to think of yourself first. What do we need now going forward? What is it about this next stage of our life that we need to be able to accept, to be able to move on? Yes, forgiveness is a big thing, and I know there's a lot of you choking up with the idea. But one of the things that I would recommend you to do, right, to any one of you who are struggling with this, because it's an emotional wound, whether you like it, seeing it or not, whether you think it's affecting you or not, it's like a grief, whether you think it's affecting you or not now, and you think that you've dealt with it, then I can guarantee you, you wouldn't have dealt with it. The fact that you're actually having this conversation, you have to think, have I dealt with it? I'm guaranteeing you haven't. And one of the best things for each and every one of you to do to come to terms with it, or to kind of bring around a new way of thinking, remember stepping into this new lane that you're coming into, is to write down on a piece of paper the deed. For example, it could have been a loved one that's passed away, right? Write down their name, write down everything about them. Write down everything that you want them to know in that moment. It could be a relationship breakup. Write down everything on. Remember, I'm not telling you to write a letter to this person. I'm not telling you that you need to write to them to make amends. Forget what they want. This is for you to move forward. We are then going to write everything down. How it made you feel. Write why you feel the way you do. How it could have ended differently. Then what we're going to do is we are going to go into a safe location that it's safe to do so. And we are going to set fire to this paper. Whether that be through a message to a loved one, whether that be a message to an ex-partner, a relationship, whether that be to somebody who's done something horrible to you, and you don't want to forgive them. I'm not asking you to personally go up to them and forgive them. Don't give them that satisfaction. Don't. But for you moving forward, it's not good for you to hold on to. I need you to write everything down, get it all out, set fire to it, and watch as each and every section of that paper burns. Obviously, do it in a place that's safe to do so. Don't do it in your sitting room or your thing, go somewhere that's safe to do so. Make it like a spiritual thing that you do it. And cleanse yourself, in the metaphorically speaking, because I don't like that word, but get rid of things that don't serve you. This is part of your conditioning. This is part of your self-development. This is a phase that everyone overlooks. No one wants to do it. No one wants to have to sit and do it because it's going to be painful. It's going to be hard, acknowledging some of these things. But we'll have to. And the fact that you are on this journey tells me that you're going to. I know you're going to do this. I believe in you. Spirit believe in you. You might not believe in yourself, but you're going to have to do this. This is something that you need to overcome. To come into this cleanly, because remember, right, in mediumship, the person that you are in mediumship is reflected over into your everyday life. That being said, the person you are in your everyday life is, again, yes, mirrored in the mediumship. There's a duality going on there. It's not just a single person living out your earthly existence and then coming into mediumship. We have to adapt. We have to be that chameleon. You'll hear us say in all my different videos. And when I say a chameleon, I don't mean that you have to be nice in your everyday life or horrible in your everyday life and then nice in mediumship, or you could be nice in mediumship and horrible in all of these different ways, right? What I'm actually saying is you as a person have to be able to adapt to a situation in mediumship. You can't just be going off one way. You have to understand and acknowledge that there are going to be some situations that you are going to have to adapt to. For example, let's just go back to being that quiet person. Maybe you are somebody who's just that carries everyone else's problems and you are that lovely person. When you come into mediumship, you can't be that person. Or you're literally going to get inundated with every problem, and you have to stand firm. You have to say, look, for my own energy, I can only do this, 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 and this. That's what's expected of you. Don't let ego get in the way. Don't let ego fuel your journey. A lot of people will be like, no, John, I can't help it. The spirit will just come to me with every problem. The spirit will come to me with... No, they do not. You are telling yourself that because you believe that you have been selected. You believe that you have been anointed. You believe that you are the only one who can carry the burden of mankind. Well, it's not getting you very far, is it? We can't have that attitude. We have to snap out of it. That there is your ego speaking. That there is your ego telling you that you have to carry mankind's problems. Nope. Stops. We don't work like that. That's not healthy to your mental health, and that's not healthy to your life journey. Remember, mediumship isn't just about communicating with the afterlife. It's also about finding a way comfortably to be able to live your own life. One of the funniest things that always gets me, right, is people look at mediumship and they just think it's easy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And of course it is, because the spirit world are the only ones that take part in this, isn't it? The spirit world will just tell you what you need to know. The spirit world are the ones that are just going to zap you that information to speak. It's got to be so easy. The reality of it is, when you look at it at its core, it's difficult on a whole new level. It's not like something where you can just get quick answers. A lot of the answers that you are going to need personally, on a personal level, are going to be from within. Everyone thinks of going externally. Everyone thinks that when you need the answer to something in mediumship, we go external, we go searching. We're looking around the yonder for everything. We're looking for tutors, we're looking for courses, we're looking for this. But internally, we've had the answers all along. Just people don't realize it. People don't realize that's where we should be looking. Each and every one of you, when you hear that the myth of mediumship's easy, it's therefore, it's not. It isn't easy. It can be simple, but unfortunately, mankind have made it very difficult. They have put paywalls in the way. They have put ideologies in the way. They have put many different styles of mediumship in the way. which are going to become very difficult for each and every one of you to be able to replicate. Because if you haven't paid for the specific course, or you haven't done the specific alignment, or you haven't done this, or you haven't followed this person or this person's ideology, then it becomes very difficult, doesn't it? Don't fall victim to believing mediumship is easy, because it's not. Very rewarding. It's one of the most rewarding journeys you'll ever have the privilege of being on, but it's not easy, my friend. Don't be lured into that false sense of security. Just remember that the spirit world doesn't leave you, and nor do they block you. Unfortunately, you block that connection from taking place through your own awareness. And if you've learned anything from this video, right, I'll hope and pray that you have realized that you yourself block the connection from taking place. It's not about did the spirit world like you. It's not about did the spirit world hate you. The reason why you haven't developed to the stage where you believe you should be at is for exactly that. You believe. You are the one who is setting these unrealistic expectations. You are the one who is determined and telling spirit where you should be at this moment in your life. You are the one who is dictating how mediumship should plan out. You are the problem in this scenario. And I mean that with all of the love that I can give. I know it might sound horrible, but the spirit world aren't at fault here. We'll have to be realistic with it and understand that we take some fault in this, in the decision making that we've had, in the way that we've looked at it. Remember going back to the mountain, right? You've come to mediumship, you've skipped out of that car, we've skipped straight past going through any of the self-development, and we've come straight over to the mountain, and we've just clicked with fingers and wondered why we haven't been at the top. And that's the reality of it is. The reality of it is it's grueling, it's frustrating, but it's so rewarding. And I'm glad each and every one of you found this channel, because each and every one of you are going to become not just a great medium, an exceptional medium. You are going to show the rest of mankind how mediumship should be done. And I look forward to hearing from each and every one of you in the comments section. If you did enjoy this video, why don't you consider smashing that like button, subscribing to the channel so you don't miss out on any more future videos, and why don't you check out the videos pinned in the top left and right. Until the next time, bye bye for now.